My all-time best month during the pandemic would be in the month of September. I made, I'd say, at least 20,000 or so. There are a lot of people in the reselling world that are high school age, college age, and it's really pretty impressive that so many young people that are typically excluded from the business world are suddenly included. My name is Max Hayden. I'm 16 years old. I live in Hopewell, New Jersey, and I made about $110,000 selling gaming consoles and pools during the pandemic.
Max started selling things like candy and fidget spinners during middle school to his friends. He then turned to reselling sneakers, where he saw major success. But it wasn't until 2019 when his reselling business really took off.
Although the pandemic is really terrible, I was able to take advantage of the opportunities that I saw. There was just everything selling out in stores and reselling for a higher price online. So whether it be dumbbells or webcams or now swimming pools.
Max created an Amazon seller account and set up shop in his parents' garage as a temporary warehouse, and officially became an Amazon product reseller.
Good. So we just got a sale to Colombia.
Oh, Colombia, South Carolina?
No, Colombia, South America. My family has always been very supportive, but they're also a little stressed out when I had turned our house into a distribution center temporarily. I started out with a lot of my birthday money, things like that, however a kid gets money. But I really didn't have the opportunity to borrow money from my parents.
His upfront costs were low when he started his business. All he needed to get started was a laptop, tape, and a printer.
That's good.
Since then, he's scaled his business and splits the cost to work in a shared warehouse with other resellers.
In 2020, we've sold just over $1.7 million on Amazon, and our profit for 2020 was roughly $110,000. My reaction when I was making this kind of money was it was just kind of like astonishment.
Max tries to sell items that are in high demand with low supply. Once he identifies where the items are restocked, Max buys them in bulk and sells on Amazon. He says he typically buys his products directly from retailers.
Sweet. You got it.
He's also part of several groups on an instant messaging app called Discord, which notifies him of restocks.
I sold things like Nintendo Switch consoles and webcams for people so that they could work from home and attend school from home. A lot of these items were all selling out, as well as home exercise equipment and even sometimes sewing machines and bread makers, things that people were doing after they were stuck at home. And the home exercise equipment was reselling because people were staying home and the gyms were closed. And then later in the summer, there were swimming pools that resold because a lot of community pools were closed due to COVID.
But not everyone is happy about his reselling business. The pandemic drove prices up, and certain products that were once cheaper now cost more money.
There have been definitely some conflicts with customers in the past. Some people who see our advertisements and are kind of angered by the price of our products, and I'm really just taking advantage of the market, where the market drives the prices and the demand for these items.
So far this year, Max has made about $500,000 in revenue with $30,000 in profit. Since starting the business, he's gotten used to a busy routine.
Everyday routine has been a little different ever since I've gotten out of school. I've had a lot more time to focus on my business.
Max hired 2 of his friends to help out with his business. He pays them each $15 per hour to help with bookkeeping, packaging, and fulfilling orders.
I usually wake up around 10 in the morning, eat breakfast, and then check my communications, whether that be with fellow resellers or with customers. I try to make sure I answer customer communications and messages as soon as possible, so I try to knock all of those out and solve everyone's problems. And as orders come in throughout the day, I'll be able to keep track of what orders are coming in, and around 3 o'clock I'll usually start packing up orders that need to go out that day. I'll print a shipping label for them and then give the buyer the tracking number. So just put that back in the envelope and then put the packing slip in as well. And then I'll call UPS to come out to my house, and they usually come out every day to pick up products that have sold, and then they get sent out to the buyer.
Max says product research is one of the most important parts of his business.
Product research can go on all hours of the day. Most importantly is how much the product retails for and how much the product resells for.
Although Max spends a significant amount of time on his resale business, he still tries to balance that with his 16-year-old lifestyle. In the spring, he had to pause his business to focus more on schoolwork.
An opportunity cost of shutting down my business for a couple of months is worth, getting my grades back on track. There's definitely been a lot that I've missed out on in terms of the typical high school experience because of my business. It definitely takes a lot of time out of my day. Maintaining a really active social life is kind of difficult when you're also managing a really active business life. I don't come from a family of money, so it was really impressive to both of my parents that I was able to make this much by myself in high school. We're looking to move into a warehouse and lease a commercial space exclusively for our business. It's definitely been a big privilege placed in my hands after operating this business. I'd say that so long as you have the drive and you have the goals of becoming a successful business person, you can be able to go after it even if you're a young person. Boom.